catastrophic situation here with UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson killed outside Manhattan Hotel. Rob, if you can play the clip and stop, just show a little bit. I don't want to show the whole clip. The audience can see it. It is tough. This is the CEO of United Health. If you want to play it while he's walking, and then when the guy pulls up the gun, just stop it. Go for it. This is around 7 a.m. Pause it right there. Boom. There you go. Okay? Right there if you could pause. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, so you see this. By the way, he's by himself. They interviewed his security. They said on this trip, he didn't have security. Normally, when you're top 20, top 50, they all have somebody. He's going by himself to the meeting. This setup takes place. I think he shoots him, if I'm not mistaken, 6 times. If you see the clip, it gets stuck. He continues. And there's a lot of story behind it of being an inside job. The guy on the bullets had 2 words on it, Rob.
3 words.
3 words.
What was it, Rob? Deny, delay,
defend,
and depose.
Deny, delay. What is it? Deny, depose, and defend. New NYPD is investigating the possible message, which appears to include the words deny, depose, and defend, written on live rounds and shell casings left behind by masked assassin. Vinny, what do you know about this story?
Well, I mean, first of all, Pat, I mean, obviously it's tragic for, he had a wife. I think he had 2 kids, Rob. So, prayers go out to them. But so he was pronounced dead at Mount Sinai. And then apparently he was earning a $10 million salary. He led the company to a record-breaking $98.9 billion in 1 quarter. So this guy, he's a heavyweight. But in 2022, he took over right after COVID, and he became this polarizing figure because they started denying payments for non-critical ER visits, a policy that critics says penalize patients for seeking care that they need the most. And then United Health faced a lawsuit for using faulty AI, weird. That's obviously they set it up to deny elderly patients medically necessary coverage. The company was also being probed by the DOJ for alleged antitrust violations. He himself, Thompson, was under investigation for what is it, Tom? The Nancy Pelosi type stuff. Insider trading. And then you should see online. Online, there was people going crazy, and it wasn't talking crap about the killer. Okay, thousands of people went on venting about the frustration over a system accused of valuing profits over patients. Some people wrote, was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency, and we were out $3,000. And another guy wrote, sending a prior authorization, denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. A lot of people were trying to say, oh, this was a hit, this was assassination. The guy wrote deny, delay, and defend, which was basically saying that these insurance are screwing people over. I have a feeling that this guy, Cenk, either his daughter or his son or a mother or something was going on with this guy's family, and this company is behind it. Because, I have a chart. Rob, do you have that chart, bro? I think I sent it to you the other day. Out of all the people that deny claims, out of all the companies, guess where United Health is in that list?
Number 1.
Look at this, Cenk. Are you ready?
32%.
Rob, I think I slacked it to you. It might have been in the unusuals one. No, they're number 1. They're number 1.
You got to have the percent because they're the largest, so you need the percent denied to truly rate it.
Yeah, it's about 32%. It's monstrous. It's a third of the people.
Look at that. Look at the claim denial rates by insurance company. Look at that. They're 32%. Wow. Pat, 32. Kaiser's at 7%. They're denying the crap out of everybody.
What is the industry average? What does that number say?
16. Twice the industry
average. So they're
average.
double.
They're double.
And
then think about it. I don't hate to be this guy. It is what it is. When you're screwing people over like that at the corporate level, and they don't realize, Tank, they think they're untouchable. Sad to say, you're not untouchable because you are affecting people's lives. I don't know the full story, but to carve that into shell casings, that's a freaking personal vendetta, and that's personal. That has something personal to do it out in the open. I think they'll probably catch this guy in a week or 2, but I mean, the numbers don't lie. That's
he's still on the run.
Can I just say, this is the exact segment we did on the Young Turks yesterday. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm talking about. If we just talk to each other, it's amazing how much we agree. We totally agree. Yep. Shooting this guy is terrible, horrible, immoral, totally unacceptable. Violence is always unacceptable. It's always surrender in the battlefield of ideas, etc.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, but at the same time, you have this chart, and it's true.
Yes.
And so it goes to the point that we've been talking about. People, like the people in power, are bottling everything up, and they think that they could maintain that. This is unprecedented. It doesn't happen in other countries. In other countries, in all other developed nations, you're actually guaranteed healthcare, and then you could put private healthcare on top. We don't do that. So 76,000 people, according to studies, die every year because they don't have health insurance. That number is 0 in other countries. So as much as I mourn this guy, and I do, I don't want anybody to think otherwise, right? I also mourn those 76,000 Americans that die every year because they get denied coverage. Because think about health insurance. It makes no sense in my mind to privatize this. So like you want to do private on top? Great, no problem. You want to do private security on top of the cops? Great, no problem. But when you have it like this, you know, Pat, you and I run businesses. What do you want to do? You want to maximize profit. You want to minimize costs, right? So what's the revenue that you're getting in? Money from people. You charge for everything. Charge for everything, right? And what do you pay out? Healthcare. So you deny as much healthcare as possible so you can make a greater profit. So these guys made $20 billion in profit the other day. I don't mind people making profits from jeans, burgers, etc. God bless, right? You're adding on top of the things that are guaranteed. I don't mind that at all. But when you're denying 32%, almost a third of the people through 18 different tricks, endless tricks, and then all these folks die because they don't have health insurance, they're gonna get mad. And I'm not saying this to encourage vigilante violence. I'm saying this as a warning, like the vigilante violence is going to break out whether we agree or disagree, whether we condemn it or not. And I'll give you other examples that are like on crime. I'm like, guys, if you don't do something about crime in LA, people are going to start taking it into their own hands. And they did. And then we started seeing vigilante justice against criminals, and then unfortunately against homeless people, et cetera. Because when you bottle things up, people go, enough of this shit. And you get vigilante justice.
By the way, and that's what Joker 1 was really all about, which is why I walked that 42 minutes into the movie. I said, this is not a good movie. This is a dividing movie. But there's a part of it that is true, and it happens. In regards to, you said a lot of different things. In regards to private healthcare versus, public, the government offers it, all that stuff. And I just don't think anything public does better than private. I just don't think they do. That's my only argument to that. And I do say regularly, what's the business model of hospitals? The more beds filled, the more money they make. They need more sick people, right? Okay, what's the business model of military, companies that sell weapons? They need more wars. Yeah. What's the business model? We're on the same page there.
Hotels, they need beds filled.
That's the shooter's picture right there. That's the shooter, who the person is. By the way, there's a story going out. This may or may not be true. In February of this year, UnitedHealth had a cyber breach in February, if I'm not mistaken. I think a day before or a day of. You guys can go do your own due diligence. This article is spreading all over the place as well. I don't know if it's factual or not. The Pelosi's, they're famous for making investments into certain things.
Psychics.
On the same day, Pelosi made her second purchase of call options, a Palo Alto network cybersecurity company that was later chosen to investigate the breach. So UnitedHealthcare CEO was killed by a masked gunman, and it shows the investment. You know how they always track the Nancy Pelosi tracker? Yeah. And there's an account on Twitter that's going on. Again, go do the research of this on your own. If you can go on the timeline, Rob, of what happened, the one on New York Post, it does a great job explaining the timeline of events that took place. If you go a little bit lower, go a little lower, look right there. So at 6:44 a.m., the victim is walking alone towards the New York Hilton Midtown after visiting his hotel across the street. The shooter, who was lying in wait alongside the building, fires at him, okay? Then the shooter then runs to an alleyway between 54th and 55th Street. Once the West 55th Street, the shooter continues to walk on the 6th Avenue where he gets onto electrical city bike. Then shooter rides north on 6th Avenue towards Central Park. At 6:48 a.m., the shooter rides the bike into Center Drive, okay? And since then, there's been nothing with them.
And mind you, the eyewitnesses were there. There was a bunch of them on the news. They were like, this guy waited for him outside for hours, overnight, waiting. Like he wanted to hit that guy. Like it was meant for him.
Premeditated.
For sure.
How do they not find this guy in New York City? It's the most cameras operated city in the world potentially. How do they not find this guy?
They got the photos of him because apparently he went to Starbucks because you can't pass up peppermint mocha It's the holidays.
That's where
and
he
he's on
was.
an e-bike, so he's going green. But dude, think about it. He can't be in a
How
car.
do you get
There's
the e-bike? You
there's
gotta have a credit
No,
card.
exactly. But there's no getaway. You can't take an Uber in Manhattan. You got to get on a bike. I mean, he planned it, and then on the bike. But then, like you said, Adam, his face is out there now. It's gonna in 2 days, 3 days, you're gonna find out who this guy is, and what happened with him in the insurance side of it. But then going back to you, Cheng, if you think about it, this guy, if he was insider trading and he's lying to the people and he's denying 37% of the claims and people are dying because of it, would you think that he belongs in jail if he's guilty for insider trading and ruining people's lives and 75,000 people?
So two different things. If he's doing insider trading, that's illegal and crime should go to prison, right? On the denying, no. As much as I loathe it, we have to change the system. Putting him in jail doesn't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. So, and by the way, killing him doesn't make any sense. It doesn't change the system, right? So you've got to change the fundamental structure here because otherwise they're going to make a profit off of our deaths for the rest of the time. Like literally no other developed nation allows this. So this is madness. And so let's change the way things are done rather than just hitting one guy or putting somebody in jail. But there's a million things that look here. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you guys will like it, but Rick Scott, now senator from Florida,
former governor,
committed the largest Medicare fraud in American history. His company did. He was the CEO of it. The company says, yes, we're guilty. Okay, and they pay a fine. My guess is it was a percentage of the profits that they made from that scam, right? Now, guys, you should be super pissed about that. They robbed us. That Medicare is us, our taxpayer money, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, the company is guilty, but the guy who made all the decisions, the CEO, not guilty. But wait, what the fuck is this? I mean, you can't send a company to jail, right? Yeah. But in that case, it was actually illegal. They stole over $1 billion and nobody goes to jail. No, the next time a company is guilty, some human being is guilty. Don't tell me, and Democrats and Republicans do this.
I agree.
Corporations are guilty. They'll pay 20% of their profits that they did from that scam, but nobody goes to jail. No, F that. You break the law and the company's guilty. Whoever did it, you're going to jail.
And that's going to, I agree 100%. And that's the point I was trying to make. Going right back to Fauci, that type of attitude, that type of policies and shit, and people are dying and you're lying. And it's not just a blanket. I want people to go to prison. No, Cheng. Certain people have to pay the price. And he's
we could go hours on healthcare and debate all this, but it's very interesting to me that there's actually a war going on in healthcare, that they're against each other. The insurance companies are on one side and the pharma's on the other. Did you know that there is actually restrictive statutes that prevent the federal government from negotiating the prices of Medicare drugs? And actually, under Biden, it was bipartisan that they finally, you're nodding, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
they finally got it through. And I think the first list of drugs was a hysterical total of 10. I think it was 10.
They started with 1, but they said, don't worry, through the next 2-3 years, we'll get all the way up to 10.
Wow.
They can actually negotiate prices on 10. Well, guess who's forced to pay the prices on those? The insurance companies. Yeah. And the insurance companies are no sweethearts. Right? You go look at this, but there's an example that even inside this terribly broken healthcare system where our life expectancy has gone down, we spend more than any country in the world on healthcare, and we don't have the statistical outcome that you would think, oh, you guys must be the healthiest and living the longest? No, we're not. And it's just ironic that there's this war going on between pharma and insurance company inside that entire broken healthcare system, which has more lobbyists than the Department of Defense.
So I love what Tom's saying. Let me just build off that. A couple of quick points. So first of all, on Medicare negotiating drug prices, we're not allowed to negotiate drug prices. That's not a thing that any other country does. That's insanity. That is corporatism run amok. That's corruption run amok. Because what part of the free market says, no, you're not allowed to negotiate prices? You must accept a price that a company tells you. That's insane. I've never heard of that in my life. That's a free market killer. It's totally against capitalism, right? And Bush is the one who put it in place. Then Obama ran ads. It was called Billy. It was one of his most successful ads, saying, can you believe this? They won't even let us negotiate drug prices. We just have to pay whatever ransom the drug companies want, right? And then Obama got in, said we're not negotiating drug prices. Okay, let's be honest. Trump said he was going to do it. He got in. He didn't negotiate drug prices. Biden got in, not negotiating drug prices. Why? Because Big Pharma is the #1 donor group in the whole country. Like, I complain about AIPAC all the time and how much money they put in and control the politicians, etc. AIPAC's got nothing on Big Pharma. Big Pharma is freaking-gantic. And to your point, Tom, about how much of our life expectancy they take from us, this combined industry that has become totally captured the government and then used it against the American people, those countries that all other developed nations that have universal health care, they live on average. It costs twice as much for us. We pay twice as much. That's insanity. And we live on average 4 years shorter than them. So they're taking 4 years of all of our lives on average. Okay, we got to change that system.
Everybody is on the mindset of Future Looks Bright, and we've been saying this for a few years. We want 1 million people to wear the gear Future Looks Bright. If you notice one thing, I was sitting down with a few different people. The most common question being asked for me this week was, Pat, how come you don't take sponsors anymore? I said, because we want to represent what we believe in. I don't want to get here and tell you, go use this tool to shave yourself and all this other stuff, and we take $500,000 or go buy this Bitcoin or crypto or tool. That's not us. But you know what we do believe in? Our stuff that we do. If I represent any other sponsorship, it's because we love their product and we use it. Right now, Future Looks Bright, new hats just came out. These will go on, I guarantee you, when you see this thing here, and it's in front of you, and you see the 3D, you're going to see how many compliments you get of these Future Looks Bright gear that came out, the black and red, the green and white, the PBD Podcast one here that says Future Looks Bright, Valuetainment on the side. Vinny has the, which one is that, Vinny?
It's a flat brim.
Flat brim, the white with the PBD Podcast. The green is insane with the green and the white, and the bottom Future Looks Bright. Go place your order. The first 100 people that place an order on these new hats will get a Future Looks Bright mug that is here. The first 100, this will be sent to you. Place your order, go to vtmerch.com.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.